Fairview Manufacturing CIE examination past papers with explanation. We are discussing the paper of October-November 2015, question number 3, Fairview Manufacturing Accounts, which is a topic of final accounts of manufacturing business. Solved paper of CIE Cambridge International Examination with explanation is given in this video. We are talking about manufacturing business of Fairview Manufacturing. IGCSE and O-level paper patterns, code number 711022, October-November 2015. This is the question given to us. Following balances extracted from Fairview Manufacturing on 31 October 2015. This is their year end. Purchases of raw material given to us. Purchases of finished goods given to us. Raw materials purchases will be used in the cost of goods manufactured statement. Finished goods purchases will be used in cost of sales portion of income statement. Carriage inwards paid for both purchases is given here. Factory wages, which are also known as direct wages, are 2,95,000. Office wages are 75,000. Factory wages will be taken in direct wages or direct labor while preparing cost of goods manufactured statement. Office wages will be taken in the income statement expenses portion. Factory packaging cost is actually the direct expense which is given to us. Rent is 38,400. Factory management salaries are the indirect expense which will be taken in factory overhead. Office management salary is the administration expense which will be taken in income statement expenses. Factory indirect expenses are 8,500. Office expenses are 15,000. These will be taken in the FOH of manufacturing account. These will be taken in the income statement of expenses portion. Factory equipment cost, office equipment cost, both are given. These are non-current assets which are to be written in the balance sheet. Provision for both these non-current assets are also given. Inventory November 1, 2014. If this is the year end, then November 1, 2014 must be the beginning of the financial year for manufacturing, Fairview Manufacturing. If on the beginning these three balances are given, it means this is the raw material opening, this is the work in progress opening, and this is the finished goods opening. Additional information given on 31 October 2015, that means the last day of financial year, raw material, work in progress, finished goods. Because these amounts are given on the last day, therefore these are the ending inventories of these three: raw material, work in progress, and finished goods. More details given to us in question. Half of the carriage inward is for raw material and half for finished goods. It means out of this 36,000, half will be taken to cost of material produced, or you can say consumed, in the manufacturing account, and remaining half will be taken in the cost of sales portion of income statement. Second point, factory wages owing are 9,000. Factory wages already paid are 2,95,000. Still 9,000 are unpaid or owed by us. So this 9,000 is to be added in factory wages when we will be taking them in cost of goods manufactured statement. Third point is 60% of factory packaging cost are direct and 40% are indirect. So out of this factory packaging cost, 60% will be taken to the factory cost of goods manufactured, and remaining 40% will be taken as indirect and will be taken in the FOH portion, that is factory overhead portion. Number 4. Rent is allocated to the factory and the office on the basis of floor area occupied. Factory 5,000 square kilometer and office 3,000 square kilometer. It means the total area is 8,000 square kilometer. The rent should be divided by 8,000 square kilometer. Then we'll get the per square kilometer rent. Multiplying it by 5,000 will give us the rent for factory. Multiplying the same by 3,000 will give us the rent for office. Calculation is shown in the statement on next slide. Fifth point is the depreciation for equipment and office, factory equipment and office equipment are to be calculated 25% using diminishing balance method. Requirement is to prepare the manufacturing account for year ended 31 October. Factory equipment depreciation will be taken in manufacturing account. Office equipment depreciation is used in the income statement, but because it is not required in the question, so it will be ignored. Look at the manufacturing account for Fairview Manufacturing. As discussed in the format, there are four main portions of the cost of manufactured account. If work in progress, opening and ending are given, they will be added and subtracted in this amount which is given to us. So let's see. Cost of material consumed always includes opening inventory of raw material, purchases of raw material, and carriage inward, which is to be taken half because half is for the raw material. These three will be added. After adding these three amounts, the answer is 6,12,000. Closing inventory of raw material is to be subtracted. From where we had taken all these amounts, they are given in the question. Raw material opening, raw material purchases, carriage inward, which is to be taken half because that is only for the raw material. These three are to be added, and then the raw material ending 94,000 is to be subtracted. After doing these calculations, we are done with the first part of manufacturing account, which is the calculation of raw material consumed. Factory wages are the direct labor or the direct factory wages which are given to us in the question. These are the factory wages, 2,95,000, and because 9,000 are still owed by us or unpaid by us, so we will be adding these two. 2,95,000 plus 9,000, total factory wages are 3,04,000. The second part of our manufacturing account, which is the direct wages or direct labor, is also taken by us. Direct packaging, which means the direct expenses, which are given in the question as factory direct expenses, or you can say factory packaging cost 55,000. Out of this, 60% was direct. Therefore, 60% will be taken in the direct expenses and remaining 40% will be taken in the indirect expenses. So, in direct expenses, we are taken 60% of this amount. Let us correct the placement of these lines. Okay, so raw material consumed plus direct labor plus direct expenses, which is only direct packaging in this question, are added, and that is how we had calculated the prime cost. After getting prime cost, we will be adding factory overhead, all other expenses which are related to the factory and are indirectly incurred by us for running the factory will be taken here. As given in the question, factory packaging, which is indirect, will be taken by us, that is 40%. The rent for factory will be calculated by us, and the factory equipment depreciation will also be taken by us. So that is what we had calculated. Rent was to be calculated on the basis of area given. 8,000 is the total area, so we will be dividing 38,400 by 8,000, and we will be multiplying its answer with 5,000 because 5,000 square kilometer is the area for factory. This is how we will calculate the rent for the factory. Management salaries of factory will be taken here. Indirect expenses are also taken here. Depreciation of factory equipment will be calculated by diminishing balance method. Diminishing balance method or reducing balance method always tells us cost minus accumulated multiplied by rate. In question they had explained us the factory equipment cost is 1,05,000. Factory provision for factory equipment cost is 2,45,000. Factory depreciation is 1,05,000. Cost minus depreciation multiplied by rate will give us the reducing balance method depreciation which we had calculated. This is 35,000 as calculated by us. So let us correct the placement of this 35,000. This 35,000 is the depreciation expense. After adding all factory expenses or factory overheads, the total amount is 1,65,100. This 1,65,100 will be added in the prime cost and we will get cost of production. Because opening work in progress and ending work in progress are also given to us, we will be adding the opening work in progress in this amount and we will be subtracting ending work in progress from this amount. Or you can say directly we'll be subtracting the difference and we'll take this in the cost of goods produced to finally know the amount which is given to here. So this line should not be given here. Okay, so finally the cost of goods produced is completed by adding the difference of work in progress opening and ending, and cost of goods completed for Fairview manufacturing is $10,23,000. This was first requirement. Let's talk about the second requirement of the question. Hong works in the office of Fairview manufacturing. For the month of October, she was paid for 140 hours, $6 per hour, and for extra 28 hours she is paid at time and a quarter. Deductions from her salary are $250 tax and social security $60 for pension contributions. You are required to calculate net pay for this Miss Hong for the month of October 2015. We had seen she had worked for 140 hours at $6 per hour. So her salary or the pay for this particular hour's duration is $840. Then she worked for extra 28 hours and for those extra 28 hours she is paid at time and quarter. At time means the original salary plus a quarter. A quarter of this $6 becomes 1.5. It means she is paid $7.5 per hour for these extra hours. After calculating her salary for 28 hours, we got to $10. Altogether she is paid $1,050 as her pay. These are the two deductions from her pay, $250 tax and $60 pension contribution. These two will be deducted from her pay and finally her net pay is $740. The third requirement in the question is name the document that Hong will receive which details the calculation of her net pay. All these details are given in her pay slip. So this is how we can calculate the pay for Hong and we can name the document in which her salary is given. Any questions related to the question can be asked in the comment portion. Like, share, subscribe. Commerce Lecture Online.